next question is related with atmospheric optical phenomena. So before going through the question, why this question is important or why it was asked for your model test. Now in January 2018 in the Science Reporter magazine, these atmospheric optical phenomena were discussed, and we are having like current affair based questions which are being asked based on these magazines like Kurukshetra or like Yojana or like Science Report, right? So the aim behind this question or why the question came, because it was discussed in Science Reporter, right? So let's go through the options. So 4 options have been given here. So the question is, which of the above atmospheric optical phenomena is or are produced by the interaction between solar wind and the Earth's magnetosphere, right? So the question is, 4 optical phenomena has been, atmospheric optical phenomena has been listed out here: Zodiacal line, Aurora, light pillars, and fire rainbow, right? So among these four, which one is created because of the interaction between solar wind and the Earth's magnetosphere? That's the question, right? So here the answer comes out as Aurora. Each of these atmospheric optical phenomena, they are important, and we'll go through each of them, right? So the answer of this question comes out as Aurora, and we'll see how they are formed, right? So first of all, Aurora, what they mean is that we'll be seeing the sky in the northern magnetic pole and the southern magnetic pole in different colors, like green or red or violet, right? So the reason being the solar wind, in the sense the charged particles which are coming from the sun, right? So when these charged particles, when they're coming towards the sun, the Earth's magnetic field, which we call it as magnetosphere, so this magnetic field of the Earth deflects these solar wind, or you can say charged particles. So these charged particles, they're deflected more towards the Earth's north magnetic pole and the southern magnetic pole, right? They are not geographical north pole or south pole, rather the magnetic north pole and the magnetic south pole. So like you can imagine it as like if this is Earth and like we are having the magnetosphere, all the solar wind or all the charged particles coming towards the sun, Earth will be deflected towards the poles, right? The north magnetic pole and the south magnetic pole. So this charged particles interferes with the ionosphere of the atmosphere. In the sense, ionosphere means like the region of the atmosphere having more ion concentration, right? So the charged particles coming from the sun will interact with the ions seen over the ionosphere, and this creates the different colors, right? And such optical phenomena we call it as like the aurora, and this can be seen both over the northern hemisphere and over the southern hemisphere. Like over the north magnetic pole, the aurora seen, and that process we call it as aurora borealis. And which one we see, the one we see over the southern hemisphere, we call it as aurora australis. So australis, southern hemisphere, borealis, northern hemisphere, right? So why they are formed? Because of the interaction between solar wind and the magnetosphere. The magnetosphere will be deflecting the solar wind towards the poles, and these charged particles will be colliding with the ions present over the north magnetic pole and south magnetic pole, creating these different colors, right? Now let's look at the next optical, the atmospheric optical phenomena, which we call it as zodiacal light, right? So this is one picture representing the zodiacal line. Here you can see, like you can find a triangular shape, like the atmosphere is, the atmosphere is lit in a triangular shape. Okay, so this process we call it as zodiacal light. And why this is created? The light is getting reflected because of this atmospheric dust, or basically not the atmospheric dust, rather than beyond the atmosphere we are having this dust particles, and these dust particles deflect this light, and in a clear sky, especially in the higher latitude regions, we'll be seeing this triangular lit regions of the atmosphere, and that we call it as zodiacal light. And they are created because of the reflection created by the dust particles in the beyond the atmosphere, right? Now the next one, light pillars. So as you can see here in the picture, we will be seeing pillars of light. Again, this phenomena is taking place towards the higher latitude regions. So like in high latitude regions, towards the lower atmosphere, freezing temperature will be formed and ice crystals will be formed, right? And these ice crystals, they reflect back the light from the buildings, the surface, the car and everything. So that creates the light pillars. So remember this, the light pillars, they are formed towards the higher latitude regions, and they are formed because of the ice crystals forming near to the surface, which are reflecting the light from the buildings and cars and everything, right? And such process, such atmospheric optical phenomena, we call it as light pillars. The next one, fire rainbow, right? So fire rainbow, it means like if you are having very thin high clouds, which are like the cirrus clouds. So cirrus clouds, they are made up of ice crystals. Okay, so these ice crystals, they will be reflecting the light, and that will be resulting in the formation of fire rainbow, right? So something kind of similar kind of thing can be observed, and various kind of shapes it can take based on the reflection created by the cirrus clouds, which are made up of high crystals and which are formed over the high altitude regions, right? So the question, consider the following: zodiacal light, aurora, light pillars, rainbow, right? Which of the above atmospheric optical phenomena is or are produced by the interaction between solar wind and the Earth's magnetosphere? So here answer comes out as 2, because zodiacal light is created by reflection of the dust particles beyond the atmosphere, and light pillars, they are created because of the reflection created by the ice crystals which are forming near to the surface, and the fire rainbow is created by the reflection created because of the high wispy clouds or high cirrus clouds, right? And all of these processes, they are taking place towards the high latitude regions.